Hello and welcome! Today I want to show you how I edit this photo step by step. To capture the photo I have used a light stand that's around 2 meters long and additional stick on it that's also nearly 2 meters long. I have been around 6 meters high with the camera, and if you want to repeat this you have to be careful because the connection between the light stand and the stick, or if you use similar stuff, that's the point that will break first. And if you, as you can see on my photo, it has been bent. In my case it was the stick that has been a little bit bent. The light stand was stable, but sometimes it looks okay, but if you extend it, put different pieces together, then it starts to bend because the force or the camera is too heavy on the distance. And also I had the problems to hold it in my hand without shaking because it's really heavy, the whole combination. Okay, I use for that Dng8. Why Dng8 and not like Super HDR? It's simple, because it was not stable. The camera has been shaking on the stick. I couldn't hold it still. Have been a little bit wind and all together, so I decided for Dng8. Let's check the settings of the photo. For Dng8 I use usually auto because the camera tries in normal case to reduce the ISO, set it to 100, what's the best result with the lowest amount of noise. And the only thing that I change is the exposure value. I set it to minus because you can recover from the shadows more details as from the highlights. If it's something burnt out, it's lost. If you get some dark areas, you can recover it. It depends on the situation, on the light, how much you have to go in the negative exposure. In this case I go 0.7, but I also have already taken photos with -2 or -1.7, but the most time I'm between -1.3 and -1. But because the tower that I want to have in my photo is directly in front of the sun or next to the sun, I decided not to take a too low exposure value, otherwise I feared that I can recover the data from the tower. Okay, here we have the first Dng8. I will now start RAW Plus and load all data, all 8 images into Camera Raw. That's really simple. You take the first Dng8, you can see it with the 01 at the end, drag it on Camera Raw, and then it asks if it should take all other shots too. You confirm, and then you have all 8 photos inside. If you want another reference photo, as I mentioned before, if you have movement, the first is the reference, others will be try to deghost. The first one is the reference, so you could change at this point, like setting number 3 to the top. I don't do it right now, I think the first one is fine, but that's possible. Then you simply press render and it starts working. This is my folder where the RAW Plus result should be inside. I will synchronize it and get some photos. Okay, the other one we can ignore. Okay, this is the image that we want to edit. You can see it with the KD RAW prefix. Okay, first thing that I do is turn it 90 degrees clockwise. Why? Because it's easier to edit. I can better see the full photo. We have to remember to turn it around, turn it back at the end, otherwise you cannot stitch it correct. So let's start editing. First thing, I try auto. It's not the best result, but it's a starting point. I think it's very bright, but first I will try to set my black point. For that I press the Alt key, hold the slider and go as far as I start seeing black spots. This one is something that I think it's fine. And I will repeat it with the whites. So I press again the Alt key and use the slider until I see no white points. That's no burning area. And I think it looks already much better. The sun is a little bit bright, but we can handle it with the highlights and shadows. I think we can go a little bit further with the shadows and maybe bring down the highlights a bit more. So I think it looks nicer in the sun area. Okay. So for the first moment I think it's okay. We can use the slider, structure slider, to improve the sharpness. Also I will try the deghosting. Okay. And clarity should give the additional punch. So let's go a little bit into the 100% view. Okay, we have some from the sun, some beams. Especially you see there's a beam and it's a little bit blurry, or not blurry, but like foggy in the area. We can take a look later. What can we do else? Okay, we can push the sharpness. Let's go for this view, 100%. I'm again press the Alt key and use the slider. If you go to completely to the left, everything is white and everything will be sharpened. If you use the masking slider and move it to the right, you see more black areas. Black areas will be not sharpened. Of course, we don't need sharpening in the sky. It will only increase noise and artifacts. What we want to see is, like, we want to have sharpness on the tower and on the leaves. So therefore we use the masking slider and move as far as, like, we nearly see no white areas in the sky. Some clouds are okay, but the tower and the leaves are important. I think that should be okay. And now we set the sharpness. This is more like experience value. I have done it a few times and I think so 60-70 it's a good value where I'm happy with that. And also the masking is around between 60 and 70. So what if I go a little bit down, I would have more sharpness. I think, okay. So maybe we have a little bit sharpness in this area, even if it's, the details are not really there. I think it's also because it's coming from the shadows against the sun, it's not perfect. Noise reduction. Usually I do no noise reduction at Dng8 values, photos. Dng8 is usually no or nearly no noise, so I don't do noise reduction. Noise reduction always kill a little bit of details. So, okay, this is usually important. We have to reduce the chromatic aberration, and we can check if we have somewhere chromatic aberration. I don't go for this one because this is from the lens. This will be reduced in the stitching. It's more like here, something that's in front of the light, but I don't see really much chromatic aberration. A little bit is there. So we can go to manual try, yeah, there's a little bit green, to reduce it. You see there we have a little bit of magenta and green. And I think this should be fine because I don't see too much. And even if there's a little bit, usually you don't look at a photo at 100%, so we can live with it. Also with this dot. Okay. Nothing what we have to do there. We can look at the colors, but I would say, can we push the green a little bit more on the green side? Yes. And maybe get a little bit brighter. Increase the luminosity. Increase the luminosity of the green. I think the blue looks perfect. Green is nice. Yeah, the tower. I'm not happy with the tower. Let me check if we can do something in this area. I will use the circle in the inside. Remove all, reset all settings to 0 with the double tap on effect. Now I will use a luminosity mask. This means, if you show this, this is the normal area what will be affected, the red one. If I go with this slider to the left, all bright areas will be not affected. Okay? So I will only have the tower without the sky. So we have a masking effect with the luminosity mask. Only the dark areas will be affected. Okay, let's zoom in. No, that was wrong. We want this area. Okay. What can we do to pop the tower a little bit more? I guess we can go to the dark. And we can increase the degauss. Yeah, but it's too... not happy with that. A little bit whites contrast? No. So shadows, a little bit temperature and a little bit of saturation. Okay, let's zoom out. Should be fine. Okay. So far we have done some sharpening and some adjustments. I think for the moment it's okay. I will turn it back as it has been, so against clockwise 90 degrees. You can do this with the control comma. Okay. Yeah, you have to press control comma to turn it on against clockwise, or control point to turn it clockwise. Or you go to the menu, transformation, and turn it left, turn it right. Okay. Now, how we export this for the stitcher. The most time, I'm happy enough with exporting it as JPEG, because I have done my major adjustments at this point already, and JPEG is fine enough. Today I can show you also the TIFF export. It should reserve some additional data and quality. I go to export. So here we have all kind of export things. I have already prepared a template for my folder where I usually have my unstitched but edited files. And I go this time for TIFF. No compression, sRGB, 16-bit. I don't use adjustment of the size, and that should be important, all metadata should be inside. Then we can export it. This will take a second. So we are done. This is my file. Now I will start Qoocam Studio to stitch. This is right now the 2.2.08 version, but should work similar with older or newer versions too. I will simply drag drop the file, and here we have it. Okay, the horizon is completely off. What we have here, we can show our grid, and now we can use simply the mouse for move the photo so that we can adjust the horizon. But as we can see, if I put the horizon straight, the towers will, also this tower and this one will be not straight. So you can play around with this kind of view, but you can also use the settings here on the left downside. But I think I have it nearly. So here we have the tower, it's okay. This tower looks good, and this building too, and I think this could be fine also. So because moving to the left or to the right, because I want to have this tower on the right in the middle, I will simply adjust this. It's minus, so I said it's nearly 100, so I said, it's killed everything. Okay, let's try it again. So this is my middle. This is fine. The building, I not agree. I think I do not think it's the best way to adjust this. Every time I move a piece wobbling around, and you have to drag it on the top and turn it left and right, and yeah, but sometimes you have to also go down, and helps a little. This is okay. This is nearly okay. And this is a little bit too much, so maybe I have to go up and down and not left, right. I hope you can see my mouse. But if it's really off, I also can do it later with another tool for the fine adjustments. It's easier for me. But okay. I think I can live with this result. So what we have different, why not? Color correction, optical flow, gravity correction. I didn't have to make the best experience with that, and I don't want to press it right now, because otherwise this can maybe overwrite my data. I wouldn't be happy with that. Also, you can try 360 view. To check it, but it's really slow right now. I think it looks fine. Okay. Let's export it. I go to render. Okay, we have the highest resolution. We can choose between JPEG or PNG. I go for JPEG. I want to post it in Facebook. That's fine enough. The file name you can change. You can select a folder. Okay, this is my stitched folder. And the unstitched panel I don't think I need it. This is something that you can adjust your stitching later easily if the stitcher wouldn't do the best job, but I don't think that I need it here. I will add it and I will simply press render selected or render all. In this case it makes no difference, and we have it. Okay, let's go back to the gallery of my Lightroom. Go to my stitch folder, synchronize, should get one new photo. That's the right one, that's my result. Let's go to the folder. There we have it. I use the Qoocam app to check the result. So sky looks perfect. No issues with the stitching line or the seam line. Also, I think the result is good. Also, the horizon should be fine. It's not so easy to tell because this area is not flat. And also the trees are not all even. This is the side where it's going down and okay. But so far, yeah, also the tower is good visible. This one is visible, yes. There you can see me. Okay, I have been in the shadows, not the best result, but additional to that, I can remove myself. How to do that? For that I will start Photoshop. I simply drag drop the file to Photoshop. Go to 3D. I'm not sure what the name will be in English, but I think it's something with panorama, and I will take the panorama from this layer. Okay, here we have it. The preview, something that I just have seen from my side, it's sometimes not the best. That's if you check this and would it compare with the Theta app, the result it's not as nice. Okay, so how to remove myself? Usually I would simply use this tool, but it's not working in 360 view. I have another kind of edit process. I simply make a selection, make a copy, open a new file, go with this one. This should take the size of the selection that you just have done, insert it, simply Control V, or paste it, and now I can, and also on the PC that's not powerful to really work on the 360 image, this is a really small piece. That's how much? 700 to 200 something pixels. That's not big. So you can really easily edit your files on a PC that's not really powerful. So okay, this will be a little bit more tricky because here we have our tree. Let's see if we can make something like a selection. Let's reduce the tolerance. Use the or let's, maybe it will faster with this pen. Yeah, nearly. Okay, that looks good. Maybe the black area here. And now I will use the stamp tool. So press S for stamp, make a selection, and then simply copy it inside. Okay, the only areas that I will have is now, you can with, let's go back, I have been too fast. So if you have the selected area, you can simply press Control D. The selection will be gone, and now you can use the stamp tool with like a with a less capacity, like around 30%, to reduce the borders. It will be not so much visible. Go a little bit over the areas, also where the leaves is beginning, and you maybe see some blue areas. Okay, that should be fine. If we zoom out again, I'm gone, and I think it should be good enough. Maybe this point here we have 2 times, so I will simply remove it. So now you have to select everything again. I used for that the key, short key, Control A, Control C to copy everything. We're going back to this view, to our 360 view. Don't move anything, simply press Control V to paste the area in. You see it's invisible, but the last step that we need to do is to merge it on one layer. Yeah, now this is merged. We can again move. You don't see any borders from the thing that we have done for the layer that we have added, and I'm gone. The only thing that we now have to do is to save it, because I don't want to do any other changes to that. I'm happy with the image. I go again to 3D, to the, don't know the name, but it's on the same area for you, and say Panorama Export. Now you can choose your folder, and you have to select the name. Okay. If I now go to my file, is this the right one? Yes. Go to the Recordita app, simply drag drop it. We will see I'm gone. Look like I have used a drone flying around the tree tops, and you see the area as well. Okay, I wish I would have been 1-2 meters higher. I would see more from the area around, but I think it's nice. More possibilities to show it as a tiny planet. This looks nice too, and also this. Yeah. Maybe we can make a compare with a JPEG that can straight out of the camera. So if this is the Tita app again, I put here the JPEG file that's coming straight out of the camera. Okay, you see the tower is dark because it's again the sun. The sun, that looks good. It's not so much burnt out, but the colors are a little bit, could be nicer. Going back to my edited file, same, let's take the same view. So, Tita app. This is the JPEG out of the camera. This is the edited Dng8 file. Yes. I think it's clearly worth the effort to edit the Dng8 file. If I zoom in a little bit, okay, I cannot zoom that much with the GoPro app. Okay, so far I'm done. I'm happy with the result. Shooting against the sun, it's not always easy. You have to recover a lot from the shadows, but with Dng8 it's possible. And yeah, colors looking nice. The only thing I wish I would be higher with the cameras, so could get a better overview over the area, but yeah, next time maybe with a longer stick or additional stick. Let's see. I hope it helped you to understand the Dng8 process, that you learn something and answer maybe some open questions, how to handle it right. I think you can do more. You can use additional process, additional apps, to improve like sharpness, noise, whatever. But for my case, for my use case, like I want to make good photos with good quality for Facebook and other platforms. I'm really happy with that. And yes, in future I want also to make similar videos for Express DNG or Super HDR and the other possibilities that you have with the camera. So follow me if you are interested in that too. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.